Brought to you by DK Audio.
DK Audio presents John Landis presents The Library of Horror, Haunted Houses, Classic Stories of Doors That Should Never Be Opened by John Landis, read by Roger May and Hilary Maclean.
Introduction. There are some doors that should never be opened by John Landis. Have I ever seen a ghost? No, but I may have heard one once. In the early 1970s, my then girlfriend shared a house with 3 other college students in the Hollywood Hills. The house had 4 bedrooms, 2 on the first floor, then 2 more downstairs, a living room, kitchen, and 4 bathrooms. I often spent the night in my girlfriend's room. They employed a housekeeper, a middle-aged woman who came 5 days a week. One day, when 2 of the girls arrived home, they found their housekeeper hysterical on her way out the front door. When asked what on earth was the matter, she told them that, when entering the kitchen that afternoon, she found a man with a mop of white hair, wearing glasses and a powder-blue bathrobe and slippers, sipping a cup of tea. When she asked who he was and what he was doing there, he simply smiled and slowly disappeared. The man dissolved into nothingness in front of her eyes. This apparition had terrified her, and she was leaving the house as quickly as possible. Hoping to reassure her, the girls went back into the kitchen with her. There was no one there, but there was half a cup of hot tea on the counter. From that day forward, the housekeeper would not return to clean the house unless someone was home. About 2 weeks later, another housemate, a man in his mid-20s named Max, saw someone in the living room when he thought that he was home alone. Max crept closer for a clearer view, and sure enough, sitting on the couch was the white-haired man with glasses, in his powder-blue bathrobe and slippers, leafing through a magazine. Max ran to his room and locked himself in. When I arrived home minutes later, Max, breathing heavily, told me there was a strange man in the living room and asked if we should call the police. I asked Max if he had spoken to this mystery man, and he said that he had been too scared. I went into the living room. There was no one there. We checked all the doors and windows in the house, and they were all locked. Over dinner that evening, we decided to name our mysterious visitor Andy, after Andy Warhol, who matched the descriptions given by both Max and the housekeeper. Over the next month, everyone who lived in the house had an encounter with Andy. Once, both Max and Anne-Marie saw him at the same time in the backyard. I was only in the house on weekends, and I never saw Andy myself. But one lazy Sunday morning, when my girlfriend and I were in bed and alone in the house, we heard the front door open and close, then footsteps on the stairs. I opened our door, but no one was there. We were home alone. And that remains my only supernatural experience. I may have heard a ghost. Have I ever been frightened by a ghost? Absolutely. In books, the theatre, and the movies, I have been scared witless by ghosts. For some odd reason, people enjoy being scared, and cinema, literature, and the theatre are particularly good at scaring us. Many of the stories we tell in books, the stage, and the movies are designed to alarm us. Stories that are filled with doors that should never be opened. Death is such an overwhelming and frightening concept that we cannot and will not accept its finality. A loved one just vanishes. One moment they are with us and then they are gone forever. In a way, it may be oddly comforting to believe in ghosts. After all, ghosts are proof of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?